as much as I love Lamar Jackson, and you and I, it was one of our biggest fights, Steiny. Good morning, everybody. But you got to make that throw. As great and spectacular and excited as you are, Lamar, the dude was wide open, Steiny.
Yeah.
I can make the argument he had two guys that he should have hit. And I got to give you a win here real quick on a non-payday Friday. Harbaugh was about to go for two. I'm sold now. That forget overtime. Had they got that, go for two, baby.
Yeah.
And then he was out.
So, you guys know I'm not a homer, right?
The definition of it.
I try to be as objective as I can.
Pessimistic.
Blake Snell, realistic.
Have it early.
All right. I don't pander. I don't troll. I tell you what I think. And maybe I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it.
I have no idea where you're going and you're smiling.
If you told me you could drop Lamar Jackson onto the Niners right now, I think I'd say no, thank you. I think I'd say, nah, we're going to roll with Purdy this year. There's just...
I always interrupt. I'm not. Just keep going because...
There's just something about Lamar Jackson. He is great.
Two-time MVP.
I'll say right. He's better than Brock Purdy.
Whoa.
But I don't know if he could be better playing for Kyle Shanahan. I know it sounds crazy, but there's something about Lamar Jackson where everything you do on offense, everything has to be centered on him. It has to be centered on him. Everything everybody does, it's all about him. And, I look at the Niners and how they've had success, and one of the things that Shanahan subscribes to is a diversified offense. And I'm not saying he would reject Lamar Jackson, but I don't think Lamar Jackson is the kind of quarterback that Shanahan would want.
Okay.
And here's the other thing. In a practical sense, with this 49er team, I feel like what's their strength? They got a lot of weapons.
Wow.
McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle, Ayuk. And I just feel like if Lamar Jackson were the quarterback of the Niners, it would take too much away from all those guys. I don't know.
I'm not mad at you. I can't wait to get to the plate and take a swing at this.
Yeah.
Mark Willard, months ago, Dibs as well, we talked about it, and I'm on record, Steiny. You can't find the sound, but I'm telling on myself, snitching. I said, you know what? I would take Brock Purdy, but I've done a 180. And the reason I've done a 180, Steiny, Lamar Jackson would be the best version of himself under the tutelage of Kyle Shanahan. So I feel like you or anybody out there saying what you just said, you're kind of robbing Kyle of doing something and having an impact on Lamar. So let's just talk about the 3rd and 4 where Chris Jones wrecked the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy, for that matter, last year. What if you have the outlet that is Lamar Jackson? Now, Purdy, and I gave him credit for his escapability, but he's a Nissan, he's a Honda Accord. We're talking about a Ferrari in regard to when things break down, escapability. What if Kyle had that at his disposal, and then he threw to Kittle, and then the Kittle component? What have I talked about? Kittle's in because he needs to block. Well, maybe he doesn't need to block when you got a guy that's a road runner like Lamar Jackson. So, Steiny, this is no shade at Brock Purdy. I got to keep it real. I've checked myself. I wanted to say you were correct, but I'm saying Lamar Jackson, a 2-time MVP, with those legs and that weaponry that is Debo and Ayuk, good God, maybe the Niners would have not 1, 2 Super Bowls with Lamar Jackson. And the last time Kyle Shanahan was the coordinator for a guy that had the skill set close to Lamar Jackson, RG3, he was Rookie of the Year, Steiny. It's fascinating.
All that stuff, I get. I completely get it. And I'll throw it out right now. 888-957-9570. Am I absolutely nuts? Am I absolutely nuts? If I acknowledge, I'm telling you right now, hey, Steiny, who's a better quarterback? Well, Lamar Jackson. But who would you want quarterback in the Niners?
Wow. I wish we could get Kyle's truth serum.
Well, I'll give you Kyle's truth serum, according to Matt Steinmetz. I think Kyle Shanahan makes a huge differentiation between a running quarterback and a quarterback that can escape trouble. And, I'm looking at Mahomes last night, and he runs to pass. And Chris Collinsworth said it on the broadcast.
Who I love, by the way.
He'll drop back. He'll get flushed out of the pocket. He'll start running toward the sidelines, and you think he might run upfield, but he doesn't. He stays back, and he throws, and he usually hits somebody.
Incredible.
Josh Allen apparently is kind of the same way. But when Lamar Jackson puts the ball away, he's running. I mean, he's running.
But he's a threat, though. It's Jesse Owens.
I know it. But I don't think that's Shanahan's ideal version of a quarterback. One that, as great as he is at running, and what did he have, 100 and some yards last night? And I'm not saying he couldn't coach Lamar Jackson. But how could Lamar Jackson be a great quarterback for the Niners, and he's not really precise?
Now, that's his deficiency. You are correct, but when you're a home run threat in an offense in itself, like Lamar Jackson, Steiny, I'm telling you, man, I've been so critical, but I'm sitting there watching him keeping those plays alive, and again, the maestro that is Kyle Shanahan, how he would use them. Mm-hmm. And I believe he would be playing in the Super Bowl. And maybe, I was watching Chris Jones. He did his Bosa impersonation. He had to get off the field and drink water on a third down because he was beating his man. But Lamar was just getting outside the pocket or going up the middle. And I'm like, this is why he's special. But what if I were to tell you, Steiny, everything you said, you're spot on. But I think you're underselling how great Lamar would be under Kyle.
Maybe.
And I know we got the great Randy Cross coming up. What time is that, Steiny?
Randy Cross at 11, okay. Santana Moss at noon.
He could get behind you.
Yes.
But that was a great game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great game.
In the 70s or 80s, that's an overtime game because they wouldn't have had replay. I wanted the foot to be in so we could see the 2-point conversion or OT. It was the Kevin Durant against the Bucks a couple years back.
888-957-9570 is the number.
Damn.
Is that a crazy thought? But
you feel it a little, like you're not mad if people called you crazy on that.
No.
Like you understand it. You can, you know what I mean? Sometimes you're like, what do you mean? Let's fight. But now you're kind of like, dude, I'm ready for it. I understand.
And Uncle Looney on the YouTube chat says, then why did Kyle draft Trey Lance?
Wow.
Because he thought Trey Lance had escapability.
Almost like a Lamar, Steiny.
Yeah, I don't think he drafted Trey. I think they thought they could turn Trey Lance into a guy who could throw and also run. But I don't think in Kyle Shanahan's wildest dreams, or I shouldn't say that, I don't think Kyle Shanahan, on balance, would want a quarterback like Lamar Jackson.
He wants a Kirk Cousins who can move,
or
like
Josh Allen,
well, Josh Allen can run with the best of them,
right? But I think Josh Allen. Well, first of all, nobody's as dynamic as Lamar Jackson, obviously.
Well, Josh Allen, I got you.
But I think he's Allen's more of Kyle's type of guy. Scramble to get the first down by the sidelines, not running up the middle of the field. But I don't know. I'm just looking at that.
No, it's
and
fun
here's the
to
other
think
thing.
about.
I said to Evan, and somebody said, Steiny, you're a prisoner of the moment. Fair enough. But the first question I asked to Evan was, can you win a Super Bowl like that?
I don't think
like Baltimore.
I'm saying no.
They play.
I'm saying no because of what you said and what the one thing that I think Lamar Jackson has not improved. I see it on some throws, but Steiny, he came in here and kicked the Niners' ass last year. They did on Christmas. But the bottom line is those missed throws are symbolic to me, and I don't think he can ever get better at that. Now, I could be dead wrong, but the roller coaster or the Lamar Jackson experience, that is just what it is, man. He had a wide open receiver. Some could say average passer or slightly above average passer. His likely right in the breadbasket. So you got me just thinking how great or better Lamar would be under Kyle. And I don't know if you remember this real quick. I got to go back when we were doing pandemic radio, remote. The Monday night game, when the Niners were playing their home games in Arizona, they played the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen looked like Hercules. I believe that was the inception of the thought to Kyle Shanahan, who had to deal with Russell Wilson, who wasn't washed in his division. Kyler Murray 2 times also. I really believe after that game, watching Josh Allen do what he did on that stage to the Niners, I believe that's when Kyle said, you know what? I need something like that. And that's what fertilized the seed that was, if I get a chance, I'm going to try to go get that. And unfortunately, Trey Lance wasn't that. But I'm going to give Uncle Ludi the win, Steiny, because he did fall in love with something that represented using your wheels.
Not like that.
There's different.
If you said when they drafted Trey Lance, somebody said to Kyle Shanahan, yeah, he could be similar, or he's a clone essentially of Lamar Jackson. I think Kyle would be like, it's a little too much running for me.
But Josh Allen is okay. Because Josh runs with the best of them, too much.
Yeah.
He'll take hits.
I don't put him in the same class as Lamar Jackson, but maybe others do.
But Lamar is, like I said, Jesse Owens, you're not saying it, but Josh Allen can run with the best of them too, Stein.
Yeah.
He's incredible. Like Hercules almost.
But, I mean, how many rushing yards? Lamar's got to have like close to 1,000.
He can take it to the house.
Yeah.
But Steiny, he's not accurate. That game should have went overtime or at least minimum of a 2-point conversion for the win.
And as for, Kyle was looking for that kind of quarterback in Trey Lance.
That's a great call to me.
I don't doubt that at all. But I think what they saw in Trey Lance was this guy can get out of the pocket, make a play. He can escape the rush. And so the thing we're going to have to deal with Trey is how to, throwing accurately. And I think what they found out was he wasn't as great of a runner as they thought.
Yeah, he took a little
around the edges, and then Brock came along. But how about this?
Good call.
Will you meet me halfway here, guys? If I'm starting a team, I'll take Lamar Jackson. But if you're asking me who you'd want to be the quarterback of the Niners right now, I'm taking Purdy. I just am. Here's the other thing. Well, you know what? Let's get Mac T in here.
All right.
Mac T's in Union City. He wants to jump in. Let's go, Mac.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Lamar just isn't accurate enough. And, to piggyback on the Ferrari reference, he is a Ferrari, but would the Ferrari be your only vehicle? No, it's completely impractical. Got horrible gas mileage, a lot of mechanical issues. It's not something that makes sense to drive every day, right? Like, nobody's just going to have one Ferrari. If you got a Ferrari, it's probably like your 5th car.
Yeah.
And that's how Lamar is. And he's just leaving too much talent on the table. He's kind of leaving his other Ferraris on the table. McCaffrey's going to be like a slot receiver that's not going to get any touches. Ayuk is going to be like, Ayuk okay, bro? And he's not going to get the ball. And it's just like, it just doesn't work.
Thanks, Mac T, and what a great analogy.
But how would you stop this Niner offense? Well, like Debo's going to be here. You have to deal with that.
I look at it this way. If you're playing the Niners with Lamar Jackson,
oh my gosh,
all you got to do is focus on Lamar Jackson. But when you play against Purdy, It's like then you have to worry about the
No,
weapons.
Steiny, him handing off or what you think is handing off to McCaffrey,
Yeah, I don't
and then
see
he
it.
keeps it, and then he's gone.
So hold on.
Or he gives it to McCaffrey, and he's gone.
So hold on. So the 49ers
Oh, my gosh.
have McCaffrey, Kittle, all those weapons.
Oh, it's
and
over.
Then you're going to have a quarterback,
Okay.
who throws 30 times a game but is not accurate, and then the same quarterback runs 10 times a game.
But wouldn't your
there
threat of a
aren't
home run
enough touches?
Yeah,
when
Forget touches,
he
though.
would not be able to utilize the weapons.
What about even if he was 50% throwing it?
It's not good enough.
The home run factor, to me, that element increases. So, yeah, you could be, damn, dude, you're missing half your passes, but one of the plays could go to the house with a Ayuk.
Right.
Or
But he's going to throw more. He's going to throw a lot of incompletions. I mean,
but they would gash defenses, though.
okay, what would be the difference here? Like, he's in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He looks around. He fiddle-faddles.
With the
He fiddle-faddles more.
Yeah.
Okay, what's he going to do?
Throw the Kittle
throw
down
an
there.
8-yard pass?
Did you
or
see
run?
Likely yesterday, Steiny? You know that? He looked like Mark Bavaro. I mean, I'm just saying he had a great game.
Scored 20 points. I'm just saying, I actually look at all the 49ers' weapons as not a great thing for a guy like Lamar Jackson. Because like when I look at the 49ers and use the term playmaker, I would say Kittle, I believe it or not, I wouldn't say Purdy's a playmaker. He makes plays, but I don't think he is a dynamic type of guy.
See, I would give him that, Steiny.
No,
not Lamar type.
He's not dynamic. Brock Purdy, come on.
Well, Steiny, we're watching him roll out, and unlike Jimmy, and still keep his eyes down the field. He's not Lamar Jackson dynamic, but damn it, Steiny, he can keep the play alive and hit guys in stride.
Why would you need? You know what? Here it is. And I've heard this now 3 or 4 times, and it's right. He's like Harden or Westbrook,
who I love.
Yes, but they dominate the ball.
Oh, you're talking about Lamar.
The entire defense always has their eyes on him. He doesn't get others involved as much as other teams get their weapons involved. And I just don't think Kyle Shanahan would love all the improv.
Man.
That's all.
Yeah.
888-957-9570. I'll say it again. If I'm starting a team, I'll take Lamar Jackson over Brock Purdy.
And I'm asking before, who's my coach? Because if it's Kyle, I'm taking Lamar.
It's Kyle.
Oh, my gosh.
It's Kyle.